Mariota's also that one thing too as well, I would say. But then like I would say also like Patrick Mahomes and stuff is not really like, you know, all that kind of stuff either. So
I saw
sorry.
that, by the way. I saw that little peek.
Yeah, I agree
No,
though.
it's all good.
I ain't in the mood, I ain't hit the groove, I ain't hit the mood.
Welcome everybody to Win is a Win podcast. I'm joined with Charles, H Double, and MattyB, and I am Samecookie. We are having a quicker little episode today. I know Matt has some duties after the podcast. He needs to get on the road, but we wanted to get a podcast out. We wanted to review the last few episodes of the Netflix series Quarterback. So
Did
we're
Friday
going
Flicks.
to talk about, for Friday Flicks, we're going to talk about 6, 7, and 8, right?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. So, yep, the last 3 episodes of Quarterback is what we're going to cover, and I'm excited to talk about it. At least I'm a little not as prepared as I usually am, but I think you're going to get some hot takes, so it'll be fun.
Let me just say shout out to Sam for fixing his headlight.
Yeah,
Adults and stuff, man. No, that's honestly good for you because that's I feel like important. And so
thank you.
shout out for being an adult.
Well,
Essentially.
I hope I'll never have to do something like that in my life. It took way longer than I thought it would, but I'm here. Headlights in, everything's fine and dandy.
It is, yes.
If it ends up just completely breaking and like crumbling tomorrow morning, then that's for tomorrow, Sam. But for today, Sam, it's quarterback. Strictly quarterback.
I also wanted to say this might be not sure yet. We're hoping to maybe get an episode out on Monday. This might be the last episode for a couple weeks. Matt and I are both going through big moves. Mine is a lot bigger than Matt's since I'm moving 11 hours away. Matt's only moving an hour away, so much
30
bigger.
minutes. So.
Oh, 30 minutes. We have big moves, so it might be a bit. Maybe those two will get an episode in. I'm probably going to be MIA for at least 2 weeks or so, maybe a little less than that. But just a heads up, this might be the last episode you see for a bit. We don't really have anything in the archive to upload because we already uploaded the interviews. So yeah, this might be.
That's true. Charles spilling all the beans.
This might be the last episode for a bit. Just a heads up.
Matt and I will try to get a few episodes out by then.
Ooh, okay.
I know we originally had a topic in mind that we didn't get around to talking about. We have a couple other things that we could talk about too. So we'll see.
Yes.
We'll see about the future.
Yes.
But quarterback.
Yeah. Quarterback.
Well, before we start, since I want to give my little exciting news for introduction. Looks like we're taking one of Sam's players from good old Tottenham. Good old Bayern Munich is signing Harry Kane. So
oh my god, I saw news about that. Man, I saw news about that.
How does that make you feel, Sam?
Who am I terrible? Who am I supposed to root for now?
What do you mean? That's your team, dog.
I know, but like who on that team at least? Pretty much Harry Kane is the guy on that team.
Well, you can root for like Heung-min Son. He's the Korean dude.
Okay.
Honestly, you can switch teams if you want.
I mean, how about this? The season hasn't started. You could switch a team if you wanted.
No, I'll be loyal and won't switch my teams, but that sucks that we lost Harry Kane. Charles, I know Charles sent out a fat meme about them being crapped on. I think in a Walmart too. But
Autumn sent me that first, so she gets the credit, and I saw it, and I was like, I got to send that to the podcast chat because it's Tottenham seems to be made fun of a lot, which feels good that they're not my team. All I know is that Brighton's the better bird. So
yeah.
Hey,
I'll find a way we'll make it through. This upcoming season for Tottenham, it's going to be a good one. I know.
Well, and we're thinking, who knows? Maybe we all might, what if we all went in on a little peacock action together? Be able to watch the Premier League. Could
Yeah,
be,
another bird.
that is true
could be
too.
good. You looked at the little premium plan. Looks like it's $60 a year, so it'll be like $20 for each of us. Watching little
Yeah,
Premier League action.
put it on
Might have
the
to
yeah,
on
put it
the
on
company card.
the Win is a Win podcast budget. Yeah, we might have
Yeah,
to have
our company card.
Our
I
ad
can't-
revenue. Whoa.
Yeah, we're getting
I'm getting a
too
little
much.
I'm sharing a little too much here.
Yeah, don't spill the deets yet, Charles.
All right, I think now it's quarterback time.
Yes.
It is. It is quarterback time.
Let's jump right into
Who'd like to give their thoughts first?
Oh, me. Pick
Go.
me. Pick me.
Yeah, Matt, all you.
Please do, Matt.
Okay. Episode 6, 7, and 8 were pretty good. They went through the playoffs. That's pretty much where they started it. It was really funny. You saw Mariota for like maybe 5 minutes of the episode 6. So like, oh yeah, so he's getting surgery on his knee. So yeah, like that's pretty much like the synopsis of Mariota's time. And at episode 8, they're like, oh yeah, he's actually going to the Eagles. Like after the Eagles had lost the Super Bowl or whatever. So it's like out of 3 episodes, he was on the screen for like 7 minutes. So you're like, oh, awesome, this is great. So there was that. Saw Kirk Cousins for episode 6 at least was more geared towards him. And then obviously episodes 7 and 8 were Mahomes, and I wanted to blow my brains out every time I saw freaking Jackson Mahomes or freaking Brittany. Holy crap. She is so annoying. Like, I love that she's, into soccer, loves sports. I think she's a great mom, great person. If I was married to her, I think I already would have been divorced.
Oh, Matt. Whoa.
Golly.
And
Big take.
like, holy heck, man.
I don't
Like,
think she's that bad. I mean,
hey, peace, love, and blessings to Brittany Mahomes. Love you. You're amazing. You're awesome. But holy crap, super annoying. Like, I don't know.
mean-
Like, she's just like that one person that like, she's like those like girls that go to the football games that are cheerleaders, and they're just like, yeah, awesome, amazing. And then all of a sudden it's like, oh no, they took the ball. Like, it's like, oh my goodness. Like, I know she's smarter than that because obviously she played soccer. She's a minority owner. Like, she's a smart woman. And then she just does some stuff. Like, one of the scenes, she was literally on a chair, like jumping up and down, like she was like freaking 12. And like, here's the thing, I get it. Your husband is in the Super Bowl. He's playing well. They're coming back. Like, totally get it. But like,
you don't get
you're
it.
like you're like freaking 30. Like, why don't we act like it? You know what I'm saying? Like, not even Charles and I were acting like that when we were at the freaking March Madness. I mean, we were in the owner's suite of the Grizzlies, and you didn't see us jumping up and down on the freaking chairs, like, yeah, let's go. I mean, granted, none of us, we weren't married to any of the people, coaches or whatever, but like, oh my goodness, dude. I was like, what the heck? And then obviously it's hard to watch because the Chiefs, like, I do not like the Chiefs, but I like Andy Reid because he's LD, like he's Mormon, and he's super nice, and like you can see he loves like every one of his players, which is like super nice. And like Mahomes was, it was good to see him kind of with the ankle stuff and everything, and it was cool to see the new house that they built and stuff. Like, it looks beautiful, that kind of stuff. But yeah, it was just like, it was almost like too much overload of the Chiefs. But then again, they're the ones who got the Super Bowl, so I totally get it. And this is from my perspective of like, I'm not a Chiefs fan. Like, I think if it was like, if they went through Jalen Hurts that year, like, I think that would have been cool just because, I have no affiliation or ties to anything. But overall, it was good, it was entertaining. I mean, not very often you get to hear, stuff on the sidelines or locker room stuff, and to go through Mahomes' ankle injury and stuff, like, that's unique as well. So overall, I liked it. Like I said, my comments are more opinion based and probably bias based, except for the Brittany Mahomes one. I think if you took a poll, 90% would say she's freaking annoying. But yeah, that's kind of my takes on episodes 6, 7, and 8.
I think you're being a little bit too harsh on Brittany. I mean, I do find her a little bit annoying too, but
A little
I don't know if I
bit.
would- what was that?
A little bit. Don't lie to yourself, dog. I know you're a Chiefs fan, but come on.
Okay. I take it. She is very. There was a lot of scenes where she gets a little bit almost too excited, and
Yes,
all three
that's
of us
probably
probably
better.
do that. But
Yes.
I think she's just a really big fan of the game. I mean, I would be very if I were Patty Mahomes right now, I would be very happy to see that my wife is so like passionate
Yeah.
about my sport too, which is great. We got to see, well, Brittany wasn't playing, but we got to see Brittany's soccer team play out too, which is awesome. I'm glad that they have that kind of bond together. But I I totally agree with Jackson Mahomes. I do not like Jackson Mahomes, but I would give a little bit more credit to Brittany, please.
Okay. I'll concede that. I'll concede that. I'll say how this. I thought she was super annoying. However, the way that she supports her husband, the way that she's there and engaged in everything is very admirable. And like I said, not in that position. If let's say roles were reversed and I was somehow married to a quarterback as a woman and stuff, I would probably get excited like that too. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Because you
for sure.
see your significant other doing something like, amazing, right?
Yeah.
The
And
one
I
comment
also
though, the one comment though that I thought was really dumb of Brittany though, she's like, how do you feel about winning a Super Bowl? And I'm like, did you not ask him that like 2 years ago when
yeah,
he won? Like, it's just like I would have said, like, is this Super Bowl better than the last one? You know what I'm saying? Like maybe something like that. But I was just like, I'm pretty sure he feels probably the same.
that was
Like this is
yeah.
awesome.
That was kind of awkward in the moment to watch that happen. There is a lot of other scenes where it's kind of like cringy almost of what she says, but I mean, I guess it's the heat of the moment. I'm giving it
Yeah.
the benefit of the doubt. But one more point. I'm sure you and Charles would be like jumping out of your seats, just like Brittany too, if like Missouri State or BYU clutch up in like the Final Four in college basketball. I think you guys would go pretty crazy.
I wouldn't do that, but I would be
I don't know if
high.
I'd be jumping on chairs and stuff. You know what I'm saying?
I think that's cap Charles. I think Charles would like explode if he saw something like that happen.
You think
No,
that's cap?
I don't think I
I
would.
do.
I don't think so. I would, yeah, I don't think I would be like that. I don't think I'd be jumping on like my couch or whatever, or anything. I would
I don't
be,
know.
I'd probably be, holding like with a pillow and stuff like
Mhm.
that, and be like really into it, obviously. But I wouldn't be. I'm not the most. This actually led me into my point. I feel like Brittany Mahomes is kind of like all Chiefs fans because her kind of behavior was not far fetched from Sam's behavior in the AFC Championship game when he absolutely yelled at me and exploded after they won.
Hey, that was for good reason, Charles. That
I
was less on me and more on you.
I feel like
Because throwback to when Charles and I both lived in the same apartment. I think this was 2019 before we won the Super Bowl.
2019, whenever the Patriots beat you guys.
the
Well,
Patriots.
not even that. I was going to talk about the Ravens game where they beat us by like 1 point.
Oh, 2021. That was 2021.
Oh, that was
Oh.
2021. Wow.
Yeah, if you're talking about the playoff game,
No,
that was
that was
2019 when the Patriots somehow beat you guys.
So the Ravens game.
Yes, I'm bringing that game up at least because you popped off on me so hard.
No,
Yes, you did. Yes,
No.
you did.
This is what I did.
I don't know if I'd say you jumped out of your seat like that.
No,
but
this is what I did. When we got
popped off.
Lamar, I remember it was 4th and 1, and we went for it and risked it because if we don't get it, you're winning the game because you're probably going to kick the field goal. We go for it on 4th and 1. Lamar gets the first down. I remember I just went like this. I went, yes, yes. I didn't say anything to you directly. You were sitting there. I was just like, yes, like, ahead just of me. I was just like that. And I remember I was just like, but I didn't go, I'm not going to repeat what you said on camera, but I'm going to go, you go, yeah, Sam, you like that? Because that's
you pulled the Kirk Cousins.
That's
Kirk
basically
Cousins.
what I'm not going to say what you said because you remember what you said, but you looked me straight in the eyes and yelled it at me. I didn't look at you in the eyes when the Ravens will beat the Chiefs. I was just hyped, I wasn't aiming it at you. You aimed it at me.
Ooh, God, I don't know.
Anyways, okay, besides the point. Yeah, so I was gonna say Chiefs fans are just all the same. No. Yeah, enough of Brittany Mahomes. I think I don't really have much to say on that. I think yeah, I kind of agree with everything you guys said. I wanted to talk about Kirk Cousins. My favorite
Oh
scenes
yeah.
from the 3 episodes were two of the Kirk Cousins scenes. I love the scene where he brought his son in and they were at like the
Hmm.
food and he was like, "What do you want?" Like getting him food and like, "Let's go sit in my locker." And
That was
he
pretty
wanted
cool.
strawberries and he was like, "Oh, he wanted a cookie." And like he was like, "I'm gonna get you a tender too, just in case." And then he brought his son into the locker room and he sat in his chair and was eating. I thought that scene was really, really cool. And then the scene when they were driving home from the Giants loss and they were in the car and they were talking about it, and he was talking about I felt like I was in the car kind of with him if I was there and I was hearing him talk about his legit thoughts in the car after a game, the quarterback of a playoff game. He was talking about what if he would have made that throw to KJ Osborne, for example,
Mhm.
and he like talked to his wife about it. And then he goes home and he's with his kids. Like those scenes just felt, I wish there was more, it could have been more of potentially that in quarterback. And that's kind of where Mahomes' ankle injury, that was like, it was another good scene. Seeing more of those legit, what felt like behind the scenes type of thing, where you kind of are like, this guy's a quarterback, like an NFL quarterback, but in these moments, he kind of feels like one of us, like he's an average guy. Like, for example, driving home, talking to his wife, and then being with his kids. Like, you just kind of felt that connection. And so I really enjoyed those scenes.
It's with that scene, Charles, about Kirk Cousins and stuff. That actually was a really one of my favorite scenes, and it kind of made me flash back to moments where after games, right? I'd go home with my dad and we would talk, and then I like the question that, or kind of the thing that his wife, I forgot what his wife's name is, um, but she was like, "Man, I couldn't imagine that outcome happening. Like, what do you think?" And he goes, "No, I couldn't." Right, and it was like just like a normal, natural conversation that I think fans also probably were talking about. Like, man, like could not have seen that, like all this kind of stuff, and I don't know. It just seemed like one of those conversations that you've had in middle school or high school or whatever level of sport you've done, going home with a family member. Like you've had those conversations, and it's just like cool to see that even a quarterback has those conversations. And I just want to say, Kirk Cousins is probably now one of my like top five favorite like NFL players, just because like he's family oriented, like Christ oriented, like he's just like a good dude. You know what I'm saying? Like that's a person that I would want to be around and have in my life. You know what I'm saying? Like Mariota's also that one thing too as well, I would say. But then like I would say also like Patrick Mahomes and stuff is not really like, you know, all that kind of stuff either. So
I saw that,
sorry.
by the way. I saw that little peek.
Yeah, I agree
No, it's
though.
all good. Like Mahomes, I think is like a guy like I don't know if I could see myself hanging out with him just because one, I think he's a little bit more of a party type person. But like I don't know. Like he still has a family, like it's just a different vibe. You know what I'm saying? Just a different vibe.
I can also appreciate the Barnes and Noble scene for Kirk Cousins, and I know
Mm.
Autumn would love that. She wasn't able to watch him when I watched him, but when he went to Barnes and Noble and was like looking at the books like a legit
Yeah,
normal dude, and he was like, he asked a worker about something, and he's like, these will be good reads, and he's talking about the Dwayne Wade biography, and
Hmm.
I was like, I just felt. I felt like they did a really good job. I didn't feel this with Mahomes, and there was a lot of Mahomes, so it's not Mahomes' fault, but I felt a lot more personable to Kirk Cousins than I ever did with Mahomes. Like, and maybe that's just how Kirk Cousins is as more of a person than Mahomes. But they did a much better job of making me feel like I could actually relate to things Kirk Cousins was doing, or like I was almost there in a way. With Mahomes, it seemed a little more, I don't know, it just didn't click like that. I don't know if you guys felt the same way, but like with
it
Kirk
was
Cousins, it
definitely
felt a lot
more.
more related, like connection, I would say.
Yeah, it was definitely more like football related with Patty. I
I
mean,
think
he doesn't really.
that's a good point.
Yeah, he doesn't really do well. At least from what the documentary showed, he doesn't really do anything like outside of football besides like take care of his like family or like go to a sporting game or something like that. And Kirk Cousins is the total opposite to that too. So credit to Kirk Cousins though, definitely. Like I love the scene with Barnes and Noble. It kind of shocked me with how like normal he seemed when that happened. And then the other scene, I think you brought it up, Charles, when they just lost to the Giants and him and his wife were trying to drive home. It was kind of sad in a way too, because Kirk was like apologizing like right when he was trying to leave the stadium. He was seeing a bunch of fans. He was apologizing to everyone.
Yeah, you're right.
He was still like signing jerseys out of pity too. I was like, oh, it kind of made me sad in a way, but definitely a lot of respect to him for that. It's pretty amazing things to do, especially as a high caliber player like a quarterback that he is.
I think his PR is definitely has gone up since this. I think that they did he was portrayed really well, and a lot of those, I think it kind of achieved the goal of like behind the scenes type of things, and they also did a good job of mixing in football and non-football with Kirk Cousins as well. So I think that they really, out of all of them, they definitely achieved their goal of the series with him the best, I would say. Mahomes, it felt maybe a little bit too much football and not football. And then Mariota just didn't have enough time, honestly, because like you said, Matt, we didn't even really see him the last 3 episodes.
Well, and I wonder if like since Kirk Cousins is known as like that family guy, if they kind of had behind the scenes shots and did some things with him that maybe they didn't film with like the other people like Mahomes and stuff. But I mean, like knowing that like Mahomes and Mariota had a kid, they didn't show like any of that. You know what I'm saying? Like I think it would have been cool to like, I mean, granted, they might have not have like signed off on it, but like it might have been cool to see like Mahomes at the hospital or Mariota at the hospital, or doing all that kind of stuff. You know what I'm saying? Like have them kind of have like that family type feel as well. And like I assume like Mahomes, it felt like he was more football. Like football was his life. That's what he's doing. Like we didn't really see a lot of like his like everyday type stuff. Whereas with Kirk Cousins, you did. You saw him go playing with his dog, going on a walk, getting books, kind of having like that personal feel. Mahomes felt like that football player, and then I would say vice versa on the complete opposite. Mariota didn't. It felt like he was a quarterback, but that was almost like his side gig, whereas just being a regular person was his main gig. So that's kind of like what I got. Like if I had to characterize the 3 different players, that's kind of what it would have been. If that makes sense.
Yeah, I get you totally. Did you have any other thoughts on this specific aspect, Sam?
Well, I mean, I definitely agree with what Matt is saying. I guess I don't know. I mean, to defend Mahomes, surprise, surprise, they definitely had a lot more like game time to work with during the season. Like they had a lot of exciting like regular season games. He obviously went to the Super Bowl and won. There's a lot of stuff to cover about that. I'm sure he does a lot of other family stuff that just didn't get showed because there probably wasn't enough time to show it. But I might be like pulling my leg a little bit with that too. Like Mariota would be a pretty good example of that. Obviously, his career was the shortest of the 3 quarterbacks for this season, at least. But he also didn't really have as much of a family as Kirk did. Like obviously, he has a wife, and he had a daughter on the way too. But I mean, Kirk had a whole entire family, so there's definitely a lot more to show in that aspect. But I would agree that I definitely would have wanted to see Mahomes more as like a family man, or like Mariota even, and just not even instead of just dumping him in the series, like after the Falcons were pretty much over and the drama kind of faded away with him going to the Eagles, they could have showed him a little bit more of like actually interacting outside of the game too, like seeing what his life is like just outside of like showing his personal chef and doing little odd jobs like that. Like,
well, I think it would have been cool to see him like in Hawaii, like once he's like, all better. Okay, what's he doing in Hawaii? And then probably like, I don't know, maybe his thought process or how he got to be the backup quarterback for the Eagles. Like all of a sudden, like that's just like thrown in there when you're like, whoa. That's actually kind of cool because Mahomes and then have just played them, but like how did he all of a sudden get the Eagles? Like, what were those conversations like in the house? Like, you see them in Hawaii, but you're like, wait a sec, when did they move to Hawaii? Like, that wasn't even in like the last place you saw him. He was in Nevada getting treatment, and the next thing you know, he's in freaking Hawaii saying, "Oh yeah, I'm a quarterback of the Eagles. I leave in a couple weeks." And you're like, "Wait, like, what?" Like
That's
I think that could have been something to really, if you really wanted all three of them to be shown, especially at the very end, right?
Hmm.
To kind of culminate things, I think that would have been cool, or just throughout. You know what I'm saying? Like those 2 weeks in between the Super Bowl and stuff. Like yeah, like it's great we see Patrick Mahomes and stuff, but like like Mariota's probably at home, and what is he doing? Maybe is he talking like all those kind of things. I don't know.
that's actually a really good transition to what I wanted to talk about next. But one last thing I wanted to mention. There was one scene with Mahomes non-football scene that I did really enjoy, and that was
Hmm.
when he was out with Brittany and they were on the deck kind of, and it kind of looked like more of a chilly day. It was a little foggy, and
Oh
they were talking about
yeah.
their house, their new house. I felt like
Mhm.
I was kind of there too. Like that was one scene that I thought they did a good job with Mahomes in terms of non-football, and they were talking about, what they were going to do with the house, and they're talking about like having if they had their own little golf, they had their own little golf kind of whatever hole. They're talking about like if you hit them into the pond right there. I thought that was a good scene. But
It
you want
also
to
made
say,
me
yeah,
just it also just made me feel like I was back in Missouri because like I'm like, oof,
Yeah.
I know those type of days. You know what I'm saying? Like I looked and I was like, yep, I definitely know those type of
that's
days.
a
Like it
that's a
looks
November
cold out
day.
there.
That's a
Oh,
November
Yeah,
day.
definitely.
I was like,
It was
yep, I was like,
cool.
this is either November or it's like it's early January, like it's kind of cold, like it's just like that gray, you know what I'm saying? Like I was like, okay, I definitely know like that is a Missouri day. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Like so that was pretty cool.
Yeah, for
Yeah.
sure. It was a fun scene.
But going off your point, Matt, one of my biggest issues with these last few episodes was, I mean, obviously with Mariota, there was a huge jump, like you said, to the Eagles, and he's in Hawaii from when we last saw him in Las Vegas. But at the end of episode 5, they left us with a huge cliffhanger about Mariota getting benched and he's not with the team. And you get to episode 6, and it is just a big letdown for what they kind of built it up to be. There were only about 4 or 5 minutes. And there was just not much detail at all. And so I thought it was, it's a cliffhanger. I thought it was maybe like a 5 foot drop. It wasn't a big cliff at all. It didn't bring me in any standards. Before I knew it, he was gone. And they really built it up in a great way, I thought, into what was going to be a really good portion of the next episode. And it was a big letdown for me. And so that's another thing that was probably the biggest issue I had with those last few episodes, because I thought this would be great for Mariota. It would be a great scene. And it really was just a letdown. Of course, he kind of signs off on what he wants out there and what he doesn't. So maybe there's things that he didn't want to be out there that could have been in there. But it's just he's in Vegas and he's talking about how he's getting the knee surgery kind of thing, and that's about it. It doesn't go into anything else. And I was expecting a lot more from what the cliffhanger got to, I thought, from episode 5, like the end of episode 5. So what did you guys think about that as well?
Yeah, the pacing was definitely rough to see. I knew the Mariota kind of thing would be a little bit of a letdown after the cliffhanger happened, because the cliffhanger was really cool at the end of episode
Mm-hmm.
4,
5.
5.
5.
And then yeah, whenever that happened, they just kind of skipped over it. They gave the news a couple of minutes to happen, but we didn't actually get to see really anything as to like him being a backup QB or even going to the Eagles. He just kind of did his own thing. He got surgery and that was it. So I was a little bit disappointed in that way too.
Yeah.
I mean, you guys pretty much said it all. I concur with all that stuff. I mean, especially as a Mariota fan, because he was played for Oregon, and you guys know I like Oregon and stuff. I was kind of disappointed. Like, yeah, it's a tough thing, one to be benched and then have all that stuff happen. But it's like these are the things that we want to see, because those are things that even we experience as humans, is setbacks, disappointments, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
and I don't want to assume anything, but I know in that cliffhanger there was a specific clip that said, "Did Mariota quit on his team?" And like I wonder, and like I said, did he like? I don't think he did, but of course I didn't really get an answer to that. Like, did he kind of quit on the Falcons because they don't really do a good job about him going? He's kind of just getting the surgery. You don't really see much. So like I was left wondering because I thought that would be like something that'd be cool to explore. And of course, I know that when if he did, for example, and you put that out there, that's not good look on him. But like there was just that part of me that was like, did he kind of quit on him, or like what was the process of him leaving the team to go get the surgery? He went to get the surgery early instead of staying, and there wasn't really much. I mean, he said they thought it was best for him type of thing, but like you didn't really dive into any of that, which I thought they might with the cliffhanger from episode 5. So that's also another thing I was wondering about. And of course, I totally understand if that's something that didn't want to be put out there, but and I don't want to assume anything, but there's that curiosity in me, like, did he quit on them or not? And I thought that maybe that'd get answered, and it was like,
Nope.
it was really scraped over. It was hardly touched. So that was just something I was really curious about. Mm-hmm. I also wanted to bring up. So Matt, you did watch episode 8.
I did.
We had a funny conversation yesterday, Sam.
I
will read some of the text to you.
Okay.
Between Matt and I. So I texted Matt yesterday. I said,
"Oh,
these last episodes of Quarterback are so annoying. So much Mahomes, man." And then I
don't
said,
know what you guys expected.
I knew it was coming, but like still. And Matt said, "Bro, for real, literally almost all of episode 7 was Mahomes. His wife Brittany is so annoying."
Man,
and then I said, I'm watching it 8 right now and it's just blah. And then Matt said, "For real, it sucks. I'm tempted not to watch it full."
oh my gosh.
And so yeah, just wanted to I
mean,
want to hear the opposite perspective. How was it
Yeah.
for you to see so much Mahomes and then the playoff run?
Well, obviously, it was pretty awesome to see it happen. I knew what was going to happen, so it didn't really leave a lot of surprise for me. But it was still pretty cool to see the team behind the scenes. And obviously, this is kind of like what the whole series was made for, because Mahomes made like the perfect run, and they got it all on tape. And I was amazed to see it. Obviously, I'm a huge Chiefs fan, so it was awesome to see. I mean, I can't really complain and see how you guys saw those last 2 episodes, because I loved it.
Did you think there was too much Mahomes or no?
Well, no, I wouldn't say that. I would say there was just enough of Mahomes for like what was going on. Kind of what I said earlier. Mahomes is going through a bunch of different stuff with the team. Like obviously, they're going through all sorts of different achievements. It turned out to be like a kind of Chiefs like circle jerk at the end. But I'm sure you guys expected it happening. You guys, we all watched the Super Bowl last season. You knew the Chiefs came out on top. It was cool that they previewed Jalen Hurts a little bit. God bless him. He's an amazing QB. But Mahomes, those episodes were on Mahomes, the GOAT.
I'm just gonna be real. You know how like on Netflix, how it has like the 10-second like skip button,
You
Like
matched.
I definitely use that. Like I want to say probably like 8 or 9 times in that last like episode. Not because it wasn't good, just like it was so much like the Chiefs are so good, they're amazing. Oh my goodness, oh, and I was like, oh my gosh, like just want to die right now. And like here's the thing, like I love this was like so funny to me, is like the very last play, right, the holding one, and Mahomes is like, he held him, he held him. I love how they like zoom in right to where that like it's like, oh, it was a hold. I'm like, guys, if you're still trying to like tell someone it's a hold, it means it really like it could have gone either way, and you're really trying to beat a dead horse right now. You know what I'm saying? Like, because here's the thing, if and here's the thing, is it a hold? Absolutely, he held him. Is it a hold? Does that happen every single play? Absolutely, right. But I think for everyone who's like, oh, the Eagles got robbed, I think they put that in there just to say, hey, it was a hold. But it's like, well, then let's go with every other play and let's see how many times you can zoom in and see a hold like that on every play. It's like, every play. If you look at all the linemen, all of them are getting held literally every single play, right? So to me, that's just something a little funny, but I was just like, man, if you're still trying to like convince people that this thing is a hold, it means it was a pretty weak call.
So
I thought it was awesome.
yeah, Matt, what were just like your thoughts on all the Mahomes and the Chiefs? Like what I'm pulling a Kevin here.
Skip.
Mhm.
He just kept
Yeah,
hitting
what
the
just
skip
what
button.
like why do you or like what do you think you would have done differently maybe because if you thought there's too much Mahomes type of thing?
Lose.
I mean, I think the thing is like it's almost like the whole episode is dedicated to Super Bowl, when really you could have done half of it Super Bowl and the other half of the after effects, right? Like, let's see what Mahomes is doing. Let's see what Hurts is doing. Let's see what Kirk Cousins is doing. Kind of almost like tied up with a bow, like nicely instead of like really fast. So to me, I think you still keep it mostly Mahomes because obviously he's the one who made the deepest playoff run. If Kirk Cousins or Mariota made a playoff run same as Mahomes, then yeah, of course it needs to be split a little bit more evenly. But Mahomes, he won the Super Bowl, that kind of stuff. 100%. You get your flowers, you get the most screen time. 100% get it. But in a 45-minute episode, 40 minutes of it was straight Mahomes, and the last 2 minutes was, oh yeah, Kirk Cousins is still a quarterback. Oh yeah, so is Marcus Mariota. Okay, peace. And I was like, what? So I'd have done like maybe 25 minutes for the Super Bowl, and then the last 15 to 20 minutes is you go into each of them a little bit of what the after of the Super Bowl is.
Nice. I agree. I think there should have been more off season potentially. I think they did a good job showing that what Mahomes like did after the Super Bowl, like Jimmy
Oh,
Kimmel,
100%.
Disneyland. But
Oh
yeah,
yeah.
just more off season, I would say.
Yeah, I agree.
Like I said, like
omitted-
how did Marcus Mariota go on the Eagles? Like you can't tell me that was like 2 days after the Super Bowl because that is not correct. It was like a month or two after, right? So it's like, okay, we know that you've got stuff down. Like let's.
But they had so much Mahomes content, man. They just had to get it all in there.
It's okay. The NFL is Mahomes Central right now. So
dude, this
I
is
mean, it really is.
this is how it was, dude. This is how it was with Tom Brady like a decade ago, though.
no,
We've
people
seen
wanted
this
to
happen
slam Tom
before.
Brady every single time. Don't give me that, Sam.
I don't know if
Who
they.
who is more hated, Mahomes or Tom Brady?
Okay, well,
Okay, exactly.
maybe
That's not an
maybe
answer.
I'll make
No,
it. I'll
that's not
make
an
a little bit
answer.
of an argument. Maybe
No, it's a yes or no.
no. I'll have to. I mean, I definitely give Tom Brady respect for how he is now. He was definitely hated when he was like prime, like
More than Mahomes? More
21
than
years.
Mahomes.
Yes. Yeah, he
Because
was.
Okay.
He
Okay.
was.
Mahomes
Okay.
isn't on like year 14 how Tom Brady was just yet. I think Mahomes is on year 14 and he has 10 Super Bowl rings and maybe. But you
He
guys
has
just might have
10.
to wait on that.
Oh, he has 10 Super Bowl rings. That's
The
funny.
third quarterback Netflix series will come out. The third episode will just be about Mahomes. It'll be all Mahomes. No
I
QB,
just
just
I
Mahomes.
just can't man, if Mahomes keeps winning, Matt, that GOAT conversation will be closer and closer. But he has to keep winning.
I mean,
I
you
think
could even
Mahomes is
argue.
great. I think Mahomes is great, 100%.
You could even argue that this whole quarterback series it helps Mahomes' argument of being the GOAT. Tom Brady doesn't have a
Oh,
Netflix series.
he has a 10-part series called Man in the Arena, but that's okay.
Well, I mean, he does, but Mahomes will have another one. I'm sure of it. It'll
And
be
they're all
fun.
like an hour long, so he has 10 hours dedicated to him. So just saying.
It's true.
I
But
wanted
no. To your point, though, I think it would have been nice if we would have done like if there could have been like a quarterback series for Tom Brady. I think that might have maybe helped his public appearance
Yeah,
compared to everyone else, all that kind of stuff.
I
So I do
agree.
agree with you, Sam, on that one. I do think this does help. This does help Mahomes in the, you know, who he is, what he's about, etc. So I do agree with that.
So real quick, this is we'll stop talking about Mahomes and stuff. I won't try and fire Sam up anymore.
No
Anyways,
more.
so this is the last thing I want to do before we give ratings. Season 2 obviously has been renewed, so they're looking for quarterbacks. But I know we had kind of talked about some of them we would have liked, but there's already been some declines like that we know, because they've said it personally. So Lamar declined, Justin Fields, who we would have liked, declined, Jalen Hurts declined, Tua declined, Dak declined, Matt Stafford, Sam Howell, and Justin Herbert, I believe, also declined. So with that in mind, who do you think will be on season 2?
And to add to that, Charles, I'm pretty sure Trevor Lawrence declined too, which
Trevor
really
Lawrence
sucked
did?
to see. I only remember that because I would have loved to see a quarterback like Trevor Lawrence
With the hair, man.
with the
Prince
hair.
Charming.
Oh, definitely, yeah. I mean, yeah, him and Justin Fields. I mean, they would make like the dream team.
So who do you think is going to be on season 2?
Oh gosh.
Now we know that a solid chunk has declined. Who's your 3 right now?
I would love to see like Anthony Richardson on.
Oh, a
I
rookie.
think, yeah, I think that'd be a stretch.
That would be
because
interesting.
he has
That'd be.
no playing time.
But he's a rookie. That'd be a cool perspective, though.
Yeah,
I
no,
like that.
that would definitely be a really cool perspective. I also don't think you covered. Shoot, what? I'm drawing a blank. The Chargers QB.
Justin Herbert declined.
Oh, he declined already.
Apparently, that's what the report is. Yeah,
Allegedly. I mean, that sucks. Okay, Jimmy G.
he would have been great. I would have loved Justin Herbert actually. That would have been one of my 3 for sure.
Yeah,
but
yeah,
he
that's
declined,
true.
so that's unfortunate.
Jimmy
G, that's a
yeah,
good one. I like that one.
Richardson, Jimmy G, and how about for the last one, we do Bryce Young. He's
2
a rookie
rookies,
too, obviously, but number 1 pick always has a different perspective than 18.
Okay.
Richardson had to work for it. Bryce Young, he kind of threw himself into the limelight, and he probably didn't have to work as hard. So, it might be
Okay.
cool.
All right. You want to go next, Matt, or me?
Sure, I'll go next.
Okay.
I like your things. I was about to steal one of yours, but I'm actually gonna pivot. I'm gonna go CJ Stroud. It's probably one of them.
It's a good one.
Okay.
I think you have to go back to Burrowhead. I think you're Joe Burrow. If it's not, and I think it's gonna be 2 AFC. If it's not Joe Burrow, it's gonna be Josh Allen. That's what I think. Like a high profile. It's one of those two, I think. Then you're gonna go Joe Burrow or Josh Allen. And then for NFC, a quarterback that I think you could do, why not do Derek Carr for the Saints?
But that might be,
Okay.
yeah, that'd be good
He's
too.
kind of a religious family man, right? Kind of like Kirk Cousins type vibe. His a public opinion, right, is he kind of chokes games, all this kind of stuff, just like Kirk, all that kind of stuff. I mean, Derek Carr could be it. So I think those are my 3 that I think could potentially be it.
That's a good 3. Man, that's a good one. I like Derek Carr a lot. Way to think there. I think I'm gonna go with I'm gonna take I like Derek Carr. I'm gonna go with someone a little bit who I think is in that similar boat. I'm gonna go Ryan Tannehill. Because I want to switch it up a bit. I don't want to go Derek Carr just because you do. That's another guy who's kind of that same mold. He's been around for a bit. He's had some success, but similar to that vibe. So I'm gonna go Ryan Tannehill.
Okay, nice.
I mean, a rookie's a good choice because there's some good rookies. I'm gonna try and be different though a little bit, but I think Matt is right. I think Josh Allen or Joe Burrow. I think Josh Allen would be more fun. I think he'd be more willing to do it than Joe Burrow.
I do too.
I think so. I'm gonna go Josh Allen,
Probably,
and then I need an NFC guy because I have 2 AFC. Rookie would be. I don't even know what rookie is.
Well, here I can help you.
I know
someone with a little.
I know who I want. If I was going to pick someone from the NFC, I think the 3rd guy I would pick, I would go with I'd go Brock Purdy, Mr. Irrelevant from last year, projected to be the starter.
I was thinking you were gonna do Jordan Love.
No, I'm gonna go Brock Purdy. I like that one. I think that could be fun.
That'd be pretty good too.
Yeah.
Yeah, because Mr. Irrelevant, going to be the starter this year, presumably. All that stuff. I think that could be a good storyline. See how he does this year. So those are my three. I feel good about those.
Oh yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I would agree.
If it wasn't Josh Allen, I would rather see Justin Herbert. But
there's a lot of good picks for QBs that could be a quarterback. Like I was thinking of just a few as you were talking, like Zach Wilson, Aaron Rodgers. They'd both be pretty awesome in a series like that.
They're on hard, but they're doing hard knocks right now, so they wouldn't be on
I
it.
can't see
true.
Zach Wilson
Yeah,
because he's the backup too.
Yeah.
I mean, he would have a really cool story to talk about.
Well, but you would have like a Marcus Mariota thing again, where they don't have as much because all that stuff. You know what I'm saying?
That could be true. I mean, he does have the perspective. Well, I guess just like Mariota, he did have the perspective of starting too. But yeah, he also got let down a little bit. But at least he has a veteran like to fill his shoes.
Mm-hmm.
So it might be cool. But
yeah,
we'll just have to see about the three you get picked for next.
We should. Are there any bets that we can place on who will be season 2 quarterback? MattyB.
I don't think so, but I might have to look.
See what the odds are for some of these guys, because I like your Derek Carr one. I think that's a sleeper pick.
Me too.
No way. I think before the podcast started, you two were talking about how Matt plays an unfortunate bet and it didn't pan out very well.
Oh yeah, we were talking about not to bring this up. We're talking about the D-backs and how bad they've been.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I actually shared a Instagram post, I think from like CBS, about how a lot of teams that made a big splash are like, they started like 0-7 and 0-8.
Yeah.
Like the D-backs, the Angels, the Reds. Sad.
Yeah, it is.
Sad. All I can say about that.
Should we give ratings and then wrap it up?
We should give ratings because we're a minute over time already.
Yeah.
Close.
Agreed. I know Matt's gonna get out of here, so.
My overall, I'll go quick.
You go first. You go first, Sam, then me.
Okay.
Oh
wait,
Charles, you're first.
No,
sorry. I thought you said Sam.
He's camera shy.
No. Charles. So H-double, Samecookie.
I was looking at the Patriots Texans score, waiting for you guys to give your ratings. That's what I was doing. All right. Anyways, so I will give this one. There were some of my favorite scenes, but some things I really disliked. I think I'm going to give it the lowest rating I've given it. I'm going to give it because I was texting Matt during like episode 8, like not fully into it. That shows that I wasn't, invested. So I'm going to give it a 6. I can't give it lower than a 6, but I'm going to give it a 6. And so I think my overall rating was a 7, 8, and then a 6, I think. So my overall rating is a 7 then, right?
Yeah.
I don't know how to do math, honestly. Something around there. Yeah. Overall was right around a 7. That feels good to me. I'm going to go 6 for these 3, 7 total. So, yeah.
Well, it's pretty clear who's a Chiefs fan here and who isn't, because I loved it. I thought it was awesome. I think I gave episode 1 a 9, 2 like a 9.5, I think.
What? Did you give it that? You didn't give it that high of ratings. No. Matt was the one who rated it high the first few, and he was like, whoa, I didn't know you guys were going to go so low. Remember?
I thought I gave it like, no. Okay. I think thinking back, I think I gave the first couple episodes a 9.5, and I lowered it to a 9. I don't know. I'm not really keeping track, but moral of the story, I thought the last 3 episodes were awesome. Obviously, it's going to be very biased seeing Mahomes fall out. I'm probably going to give it a 9.5.
Okay.
It's very high, but yeah.
I think right now my overall is what, an 8.5, right? I scored a 9 out of 10, then 8 out of 10, right?
Yes.
I would say 6, 7, and 8. I'll say 8 out of 10.
Okay.
Just because, like I said, I'm biased, right? If put my bias aside, 8 out of 10, 100%. You know what I'm saying? Like, it was good content, all that kind of stuff. 8 out of 10. I think there's some things that could be worked on, but overall, though, was it an entertaining series? Did I enjoy it? Does it make me want more? Absolutely. So if I average that out, that's what, like an 8.25 or something like that, which who knows, it might grow on me and be like, you know what, actually, it's like a 9 out of 10 for me. You know what I'm saying? But as of right now, thinking critically, 8.25. I think having some different quarterbacks that, like, I think if you had one that played the whole season, unlike Mariota, who's kind of a fringe guy, I think that would have brought my rating up a lot and stuff
Yeah.
like that. So definitely good series. I definitely suggest to watch it, especially if you're a football fan. But 8.25 out of 10 overall, 8 out of 10 for 6, 7, and 8.
Yeah. We finished quarterback for our Friday flick little
Yeah,
series here.
yeah, look at us go.
Yeah,
You
look
can't
at
be mad
us.
at me now for watching all of it early, especially
We still
when-
can.
You still
No,
can, but that's
especially
okay.
when Matt skipped over the last episode too. That was like the best part.
No, I watched the whole episode. I just skipped through a couple parts, like the freaking like the Chiefs Super Bowl parade. Skip through that. The Chiefs like having the little confetti crap come down. Skip through that.
There was
If I skip
stuff-
through that, I
Hey.
got like 40 seconds.
Matt's a skipper because the Mannings, he skipped the Super Bowl with the Giants and Patriots.
I
The
did.
Super Bowls.
Yeah,
He skipped those
I did.
parts. So
I did.
he's known to be a skipper.
probably had a little PTSD from that.
I cannot watch anything giant
Anything
Patriots
like
Super Bowl. I can't.
anything like Eli Manning.
You
really.
can't watch Chad Powers then?
Chad Powers.
No, I can't watch Chad Powers, but like when someone's like, "Hey, let's watch highlights of the 2007 Super Bowl," I'm like, I'd rather kill myself. Or let's
Oh
watch
my
2011 Patriots. I'm like, oh well, I'd rather go die in a hole because like, you know, 07, you missed the perfect season by a stupid helmet catch, and then in 2011, if
not-
Edelman just
real
if
quick.
Wes Welker just freaking catches it, it's like
Not
oh.
only did they a helmet catch, but how does Eli Manning not get sacked? I still don't
No,
understand
that's
that.
the thing. I keep looking at it and I'm like, how the freak? And it's Eli freaking Manning. If that was like Mahomes or Jalen Hurts or Lamar, I'd be like, you know what? That makes sense. They're slippery dudes.
The dude had him by
Eli
the
Manning
jersey.
is literally
Eli
like-
Manning.
Eli Manning is like a freaking concrete block. Like he's there. Like he is like, I mean, you cannot miss, you know? I mean, there was like 4 dudes, and then all of a sudden you see him pop out and you're like, what the freak?
Yeah.
So
Oh
yeah.
man. Good to know.
Oh,
So
man.
yeah, this is episode 28, by the way, because last one was
Yes.
27.
Yeah, we
28,
were
boys.
28.
We're maybe hoping to get one more or so before the little break, at least for me. But we appreciate everyone listening and watching. Views have been doing pretty well on YouTube for us, so thank you guys for that. Yeah, the interviews have done pretty well, actually.
Charles is the viewmaster. He watches you
Hey,
guys.
I like to look at the analytics a little, see what we can do better.
Hey, analytics are good. Gotta
Yeah.
meet him, good old Amazon.
Charles hits us hard with a hammer, though. If you guys don't watch the podcast, he hits us hard with a hammer. He's like, the views are down this episode. You guys need to step it up. So please. For Matt and I
that
say-
is not what I do. But
Help
anyways,
us.
I'll let Sam's try and spread that
Oh,
rumor. We appreciate you guys listening and watching. You can follow us obviously on YouTube or Spotify, Apple, anywhere else you get your podcast from. We also have an Instagram. Haven't been the most active lately, but maybe trying to hope to get more active on that soon. But yeah, A Win is a Win podcast, H double, MattyB, Samecookie, episode 28. We will see you guys later.
Peace.